Psychobabble, oh, psychobabble. United in the sea, now it's faded to black. I threw it away 'cause I don't want it back. I don't care when it's all psychobabble
Hello, how are you today? Probably way better than me since I have a whole crew of people trying to seize all my assets. And they're also trying to up all my music royalties so I don't have enough money to take their asses to court.
Show me real proof of Callie Rodney existing. Callie Rodney is not Callie Rodney. Callie Rodney is Callie Ross. Callie Ross's dad is fake Callie Rodney's grandpa.
And who would have ever dreamed back then that I'd be back at the Opry House today to say, Jelly Roll, you're officially invited to become a member of the Grand Ole Opry. It's an honor to say welcome to the family, brother.
So, I guess the word of the day is how much does it really cost to be independent? and that was something I never could understand about Upchurch and his simp cult as to what the big deal was with being signed to a label. You know, as we know in the past, some people have gotten really bad deals, but that's because they didn't negotiate, they didn't do it right. And so there's two people at fault there, the label and the artist both, right? Because they see nothing but dollar signs and stars, and they sign a bad deal. But not every artist gets a bad deal. Any notion that every record deal is bad or restrictive in some ways just crazy, because you can talk to so many artists, you know, that have generational wealth, like generational wealth that'll last 3 generations. You know, there are so many country artists that have upwards of $100 million. And so any notion that it's some bad thing to get a record deal or be signed to a label is just nonsense. And I've never understood why that seemed to be some big deal with the Upchurch bunch. There hasn't been too many successful independent artists. And mainly, the main reason is themselves. They're very poor managers of themselves. They're very poor promoters of themselves. And there's probably only a few out there that are really good at it. Now, David Allan Coe is probably the OG independent, and he had a very long, fruitful career and toured this country, I know, for 10 years in a tour bus, playing dive bars till, you know, he couldn't do it anymore. And then when you see so many other artists out there that are just multi-millionaires, have played all around the world, radio hits in multiple countries. You know, Jelly Roll's a good example of that, because Jelly Roll tried the independent thing and he just couldn't get any traction. As soon as he signed to a label, his career rocket launched into the stratosphere. I mean, that guy had 2 of the largest country music hits in recent years, back to back. They were both on the chart at the same time at 1 and 2 for almost 6 months in 11 countries. And you've got somebody like Upchurch making fun of that, or trying to act like there's something wrong with it. And then we see where Upchurch is today. And I'm going to rub it in. Everything I warned that would happen has happened. Everything. You cannot amass a huge social media audience and then weaponize them to slander, dox, and hurt people. You absolutely will get sued. And he's proof of that. And he is still so high and so unplugged from reality, it hasn't even sunk into him yet that he lost a lawsuit and he owes $18 million to a bunch of lawyers that aren't going to just walk away without their money. Yeah, the Rodney family will get a cut of that, but you can bet your ass the lion's share is going to the lawyers, and they're going to get that money if they have to turn him upside down and shake him, make sure there's nothing in his pockets. And hopefully, I think now the reality of that is probably setting in. Some of you may or may not know, Ghost Ranch does not belong to Ryan Upchurch anymore. It's been taken and sold. And I know he's playing games, trying to pretend like nothing's going on to the few fans he's got left. But the reality is he's in big trouble. He's going to have to go get a regular job to maintain any kind of a lifestyle that's above homeless, because they will seize incoming royalties. So even if he puts out music, or even if he goes on tour, If he was to do a concert tomorrow, it would not shock me if the lawyers and the sheriff showed up and seized all the proceeds and the equipment. I mean, he's in that deep. He owes him $18 million and he don't have it. I bet he don't have $1 million, let alone $2 million. You know, he's lived royalty check to royalty check and been very wasteful of his money and been very unplugged. You know, I can't imagine bragging about being independent and then you're so unplugged, you've delegated everything to other people that you don't even know what they're doing. You don't know who's running your merch. You don't know who's running your social media. You don't know what's up. Next thing you know, you're hallucinating, thinking you own houses that you never owned and that your own mother's stealing from you, and it's all in your head. You know, thinking, you know, calls every security company there is to put cameras in, and is so paranoid he fires them all before they're done and then thinks they're somehow working for the Rodney family from California. I'm just completely out of his mind. Every single friend or loyal person he had in his life walked away one at a time and told him exactly why they were leaving. And he still makes videos going, I don't know why they left for whatever reason. You know, it convinced himself it's all some big plot with all these people to screw him over when they were all trying to help him. And he still hasn't went and checked into a rehab. Man, when that gavel came down and I found out I was going to owe a bunch of lawyers $18 million, I would have went to rehab that day. Or maybe I'd have went to rehab the day my wife my girlfriend took the kid and left. And isn't it ironic that he's making videos bragging about being father of the year, showing off his daughter when he literally completely disrespected the Rodney family and said their child was fake when she died in a tragic auto accident. And even when there was video proof of it happening, he still continued. And the sad part of it is he's still got simps out there that believe the things that he says. And they still think there was some suspicious thing surrounding her accident, and there wasn't one thing suspicious about it at all. Everything that was suspicious was something he created, or the true crime community created. You know, which is exactly the same thing we see going on with the Charlie Kirk case. I mean, when I think of all the murder cases since I've been alive, I would argue that there's more evidence against Tyler Robinson than any other cold-blooded murderer in my lifetime. When have we ever had the murderer say, I'm going to kill this person, then see him on video arriving with the murder weapon, see them aim the murder weapon, pull the trigger, and run away with the murder weapon, and then confess? And that's not good enough for people that literally watch a YouTuber that was not even in the same state tell them something and they believe it, as if that YouTuber somehow has some magic access to information nobody else has. And it's just nonsense. Heavy duty country doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. He just looks around for other thumbnails on the internet and then repeats that conspiracy. Jesse on Fire doesn't know anything. He just repeats what he hears other conspiracists say. And if you guys haven't figured out that Candace Owens is a remarkable liar by now and a Democrat, I don't know what to tell you. These people are being paid. I mean, I don't want to get too far off in the weeds with this, but the only conspiracy around the Charlie Kirk murder is you people that think it's a conspiracy, because you've been played by the Democrats, who, trust me, wanted to silence Charlie Kirk more than anybody. More than anybody. More than Israel, for God's sake. Because Charlie Kirk caused them to lose 2 elections. It caused them to lose the youth vote. Took away their monopoly stronghold on campuses all over the country. He had a major impact on their game. They celebrated, for God's sake, they celebrated his death gleefully and vandalized his memorials. And here you guys are believing that there's some other fucking thing going on. And the truth is, the Democratic Party has used you guys as tools, useful idiots, to destroy Charlie Kirk's legacy and minimize the impact that Turning Point USA had on the youth of this country. And you've allowed yourselves to be played that way because there's only one person and one person only guilty of Charlie Kirk's murder, and that's the guy that did it, Tyler Robinson. And he will be convicted, and he'll probably be given the death penalty. There's not one other thing suspicious about it in any way. And if you believe that there is, you're watching conspiracy content only. You don't have sense enough to back away from that and find some truth seekers, not people that assume and make wild assumptions, not people that are looking for a conspiracy, but people that are just looking for the truth. And there's plenty of them out there. And if you digested that content, you would be like all the other people in this country with common sense to go, yeah, it's blatantly obvious Tyler Robinson did this. There's just no getting around it. Now, I suppose that just like I and just like everyone else who suspects, if anything, Tyler Robinson's friends knew, that would be probably the most that we don't know. And I'm sure the FBI, who isn't involved in the case at all, I don't know where you guys get off with this government narrative, because the FBI is not involved with this case in any way, shape, or form. But I'm sure in those initial days, they suspected his friends knew. I'm sure the Utah State Police suspect his friends knew. They all know that Lance Twiggs lied under oath when he said that they never discussed Charlie Kirk. To suggest, but laughing. His parents aren't going, oh my God, our son's being framed. They're sitting there very silent because they know their son's probably going to get the death penalty. They love him, but they're also conservative Christians that have to do the right thing. I would do the same thing. If my son came to me and I knew he just murdered somebody in cold blood, I'd turn him in. Because you got to. You don't brush something like that under the rug. You can't morally do that. So if you're still believing there's some government conspiracy out there, you're telling me you're not a very smart person, and you're not even remotely interested in knowing what the truth is. Because if you haven't went and watched people like Paramount Tactical or Gray Hughes Investigates, guys that are just follow the evidence, period, then I don't know what to tell you, because you're letting a bunch of YouTubers fill your head with nonsense, and they're being paid by the Democrats to do it. And you're being used as tools. And instead of talking about all the wonderful things that Charlie did and his legacy and helping grow Turning Point and make it even stronger, you guys are helping the Democrats tear it down while accusing his widow of murder. And so, and the segue there is, I just want you to step back for a second and look what karma did to Ryan Upchurch for slandering a grieving widow. You know, that's mentioned in the Bible, right? As one of the things you just don't do. You don't disparage a widow. And karma is real, and it came knocking for Ryan Upchurch, and it's going to be a painful one to watch, because by this time next year, he's not going to be living in no mansion. He's going to be barely being able to pay the rent, trying to find somebody that will give him a job or pay him to do something. And he is such a narcissist, he can't get along with anybody. No, he can't work with anybody. You know, no other artist can work with him. Musicians can't work with him. They got it. He just can't be managed. He needs serious rehab and serious counseling before he could ever have any kind of a music career again. And if you don't think karma's real by now, I don't know what to tell you, because it's put a thumping on him. And I don't want anybody minimizing what he did. He didn't just say the child's not real. He slandered him. He accused him of being part of a child sex ring. And he slandered everybody else involved. He never once said alleged or I think. He acted like he just absolutely knew. And it's come back to bite him, and bite him hard. The lawyers are in the process now of seizing everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. He don't have $18 million. So they're probably going to squeeze about $2 million out of everything. And then they're going to just put a lien on his future royalties. And like I said, if he even tries to go and do a concert, they'll probably just show up, seize the proceeds, take the equipment. I mean, he's really screwed the pooch. And those of you that are defending him, no. Every friend he had, every fan he had that cared, told him to get off the drugs. He slandered everyone. Everyone that ever worked with him, he badmouthed them. He had employees who just wanted to quit. They were tired of it. They wanted to quit. And he wouldn't even let them do that. He'd slander them, slander their family, accuse them of all kind of heinous crap. And you got to be completely unplugged to, you're an independent artist. You're responsible 100% for your image. You're 100% responsible for your own promotion. And what are you doing? Every video you upload is some conspiracy crap, or you slandering somebody. There's no profit for that. And his fan base is, you guys can pretend to continue to hang on, but he's barely getting 13,000 views per video. And what that means is, if he was to release an album today, only 13,000 people would know about it. And out of that 13,000 people, about 10% of them might actually buy it. I mean, that is the reality. How else would anybody know he released an album other than his YouTube channel? His Instagram's inactive, nothing but just him. No promotion there, no music there, nothing, just him accusing people of crazy stuff. His YouTube channel, nothing. There's no music there. There's no creativity there. There's no day in the life of Ryan Upchurch. There's just him accusing people of stuff. They're seizing my assets. No, the lawyers that sued you are seizing your assets, not your friends. The people that sued you. You guys, many forget he had to pay Icadmel. Icadmel settled out, and it was over 6 figures. So those of you that are slandering Erica Kirk, you better take a hard look at what a job karma's doing on Upchurch, because your day's coming. It's not okay to do that. There is a spiritual price to pay for doing that. I mean, my God, I couldn't imagine having my spouse assassinated in front of the world, and then have some stupid YouTuber convincing a bunch of low IQ idiots that I did it without a shred of evidence, but yet mountains of evidence showing the person in jail did it. There's no conspiracy, folks, that would have that many people. In order for any one of your conspiracies to be true, the entire hospital would have to have been in on it. A neurosurgeon would have had to have been in on it. The state medical examiner would have had to have been in on it. The entire Utah State Police Department, campus police department. I mean, it's absurd. A hospital's not going to lie and say this is a gunshot wound and there's fragments in the body. No hospital is going to lie about that. It's just not going to happen. In your wildest dream, your most far-fetched conspiracy, your best Scooby-Doo rerun, there's no way you're going to go to a bunch of people that work in a hospital dedicated to saving lives and say, hey, we want you to help us murder Charlie Kirk. Well, you guys are out of your mind, man. And the only thing you have to go on is Candace Owens. Some paid Democrat flip-flopping piece of shit. And you'll completely ignore all the evidence that literally is going to could get a death penalty conviction in front of a jury. You ignore all that evidence and then believe something that has no evidence at all, that is so far-fetched, it would be impossible for it to happen. There's no way anything exploded. There were people standing less than 6 feet from him, looking directly at him. If they set off a firecracker, everybody there would have known someone blew a firecracker off. There's no way something exploded in front of all those people and not one of them said, hey, something just exploded. You can clearly hear a rifle shot, not an explosion, but a rifle. Very distinct sound. You can hear it yourself. Yet you let some YouTuber tell you that's not what you're hearing. It's ridiculous. Stop letting these Democrats ruin what we had. Stop being tools for them. You guys should have all been supporting Turning Point USA, not tearing it down. We should be hearing all kind of positive stuff about the impact Charlie made instead of pretending that 3 governments and a hospital and an entire police department and an entire court system all got together and decided to frame someone. It's ridiculous. Nobody being framed sits in the courtroom giggling and laughing. I mean, guys, you don't understand. He is proud of what he did. Tyler Robinson is proud of what he did. He thinks he really accomplished something for his friends. It's a mental illness. And to suggest it's hard to believe that some lone left-wing nut would shoot someone, it's just ridiculous. They do it all the time. There's been so much violence from the left over the last 15 years. It's not funny. My God, they've killed police officers. They've tried to kill the president. And they've shot an entire baseball team of conservatives and then here you guys are letting some YouTubers, it's just impossible to believe that a lone left-wing nut would shoot someone. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not impossible to believe. No, it wasn't a hard shot to make. No, a 30-06 would not blow his head off. Yes, a 30-06 can and will fragment. Everything you believe about that case to build your conspiracy on is incorrect information or gross exaggerations. So just let me warn you now, if you're one of the people that thinks you can just trash mouth some widow with no evidence, you better be ready because karma's going to come knocking. 2 years from now, you're going to be standing there saying, God, why me? Well, this is why. You don't do that at all. Just think, in about 3 years, Charlie's children are going to read and hear the crap you nutheads have been saying. His children are going to see that and read it. And you don't have a microspeck of evidence to support any of it, other than what some YouTuber said that doesn't have any more access to information than you have. And getting back to the absurdity that somehow being independent is the way to go. Jelly Roll's career already in 3 years of being signed to a label has quadrupled anything Upchurch could have ever dreamed of accomplishing. He is completely happy with his recording contract, and he's making money hand over fist. If you think the royalties from songs that are popular thanks to the internet Because let's face it, that's the only place you'd ever hear an upchurch song. You ain't going to hear it on the radio. To think that a song that is popular on the internet could somehow compete with a song that's being played on every country music radio station in 11 countries. You're just out of your mind. This is silly. And upchurch should have signed with a label and had a professional manager. I almost fell out of my chair when I was watching that Chad Offbeat, one of his videos where he was talking about upchurch calling him at like 2 a.m. about something, and him jumping on his motorcycle and rushing over there. And I'm thinking, that's not a manager. You're just his bitch. You're just his bitch. You're not managing anything. What did you manage? Did you get a hold of his merch and straighten it out and make sure he was getting every nickel of the proceeds? Did you go around shaking hands everywhere, trying to get him in some big venues? Did you go around meeting other artists and shaking hands and trying to get some deal where they could work with Ryan and put out some good music? That would be a manager. Not somebody that jumps on their motorcycle at 2 a.m. to run and calm him down over some stupid conspiracy. That's what mom and milk is for. Not a manager. And any professional manager should have the guts to say, look, I can't work with you while you're on drugs and out here slandering people. I can't work with you. So, yeah, his independent career crashed and burned pretty bad, and it's all 100% his fault. No one else's. It's his fault. Who delegates all that stuff to other people? You know, when you look at someone like Tom McDonald, for example, he doesn't have 30 friends living in 10 houses that he owns so they can run around kissing his ass and telling him how great he is all day and do all his bullshit stuff for him, like mows grass and come over at 2 a.m. He markets his own merch, and he's in charge of his own merch. And I bet you he can tell you every penny that has sold right off the top of his head because he's plugged into it. Upchurch ain't been plugged into nothing for 5 years. He's completely been unplugged, totally disconnected for 5 years while everybody else was doing the stuff. And let me tell you something. Nobody has your well-being in mind as much as you do. Nobody. And so there's just certain things you take care of. Now, had he signed with a label, he would have had professional, educated people getting paid decent salaries to manage all that stuff for him. People that would want to do it right so they don't lose their job. What he wouldn't have had is somebody that would jump on their motorcycle and come over at 2 o'clock in the morning and pat him on the back and tell him everything's going to be okay. Or go make a drug run. What kind of manager makes a drug run? It's just ridiculous, man. And so I don't know what to tell you, man. But the days coming are going to be interesting because I suspect he's going to shit when he gets his next royalty check and 70% of it has been garnished. That's going to hurt because that's what he's got to pay his lease payment on that house he's in now. No, he didn't pay cash for it. It's leased. So I hit a few comments. I didn't plan on being here too long today. I just wanted to respond to that video with him saying, oh, gee, they're trying to seize all my assets to keep me from being famous. It's a conspiracy. It wasn't my mouth slandering a grieving family for 4 years. No, it wasn't that. For God's sake. I mean, he had real friends and people like Deerdorf and Adam Calhoun. Those guys were ride or die. And he just spit in their face. Good morning. No, he don't. He would have. He wasted a lot of money. Monster guy. He pissed away his fans' hard-earned money like it didn't matter, like it had no value. And then many times he tried to claim it had no value. Well, you guys will see how much he cares about money when he's got to go get a job. Or he can't run out and buy a car to make himself feel better. Yes, he had a pretty good thing going. If he was frugal, he might have $5 million right now. Maybe. But he's got nowhere close. I'll bet you he couldn't put his hands on 200,000 right now, like automatically. He'd have to rob Peter to pay Paul or something. But there was a time when he did and could have, and had he managed it well, had he kept his career positive, no negativity, and hired professional people, not his friends, professional people to manage his tours and career, and hire a professional company to handle his merch, yeah, he could have probably had $5-6 million right now. Been setting good, been able to retire on it, and that would be pretty daggone good for an independent YouTuber to, have that kind of money saved up. But I think everyone tends to forget when your time is spent on YouTube, you sort of get unplugged from the rest of what's going on in the world. And I hate to tell you, but the only place Ryan Upchurch is famous is on YouTube. He's not famous nowhere else. You go to California, ain't nobody out there ever heard of him. His music's never been on the radio. They wouldn't have any idea who he is. And he had a couple real good bangers there. If he would have signed to a label right after Outlaw, yeah, his career would have rocket launched. And he'd had professional people managing him that would have said, look, dude, you are not going to go on the internet and be bad-mouthing a family that just lost their child. That's going to stop today. And you need to apologize. Let's all not forget that that's all the Rodney family wanted, was for him to say, listen, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said those things. I'm so sorry. She's very real. These people's hearts are broken, and all the things I said about them are not true. That's all they wanted, because he had a bunch of low IQ fans that were attacking him. Same way you guys attacked me for telling the truth. And where'd it get you? It didn't do anything but just make you look bad. It sure as hell didn't bother me none. See some people. Royalty check comes in for $700,000. You run out and get a couple side-by-sides and pay your house lease. I mean, and no, a couple side-by-sides don't cost $250,000. Good Lord, man. He looked pretty tweaked in that last video, folks. I'm sorry. The one, where he's crying about him taking his assets and blaming the people that worked for him. He's out of his mind, man. He's whacked. Yes, Laura. She says, I know a bunch of people hate to admit it, but from the very beginning, you called it, how this would play out, and verbatim, and it did. And I ain't trying to say that because I know everything. It's just, with age comes some wisdom, and I got sense enough to know, man, you got 3 million subscribers on YouTube, and you're flat out accusing people of stuff that they are innocent of, and you're energizing your fan base, you're weaponizing your fan base to go after them, and they do, you're going to get sued. I mean, it's just, you're going to get sued. You can't do that. That's why you don't see any other artists doing that. I want you to name one musical artist that's YouTube channel is them slandering people all the time. Because there ain't any. That's why they're not being sued. There's no appeal. What's he going to appeal? I suppose he could file for an appeal if he wanted to, but you first, I guess some of you guys don't understand how it works. To file an appeal in a case like that, in a civil case, you have to present a preliminary preamble, if you will, of what would be different if they reheard the case. What was there? Some other information we didn't have, but there has to be a justification for an appeal. You can't just appeal it because you don't like the decision, because if that was the case, everybody would appeal, right? Every time you lose a case, you would appeal if you could just appeal. You can't just appeal. You have to prove there's some reason why an appeal is valid. And there isn't. He has nothing. Secondly, no attorneys will take the case. That he's hired 2 different attorneys, and as soon as they looked at the case, they said, nope, I'm out. See you. Bye. Because not only did he never use the word alleged, or I think, he spoke in matter of facts, but he kept doing it. Even while he was being sued, he was still doing it. And he just has no case. And no, there won't be any appeal, to answer your question. You think Ryan's going to make back triple $18 million? How's he going to do that getting 13,000 views on YouTube? I mean, hold on a second. I got to sit down here. All right. Jesus God. Last Creeker. Dude. I mean, do you always lie to yourself and then believe it? You know, are you one of these people that grossly exaggerates to yourself and then pretends it's real? Because that's a gross exaggeration. Even if Ryan was able to, say, repair his reputation enough to get 100,000 views on a YouTube video, which I highly doubt he can do, because he can't apologize. He would have to start by apologizing. And he's incapable of doing that. But let's say for some magical reason, he was able to start getting 100,000 view average on his YouTube videos again. That's 100,000 people that would know anything about him. Where else? You're not going to hear on the radio that Ryan Upchurch is in concert tonight. You're not going to hear on the radio that Ryan Upchurch released a new album. It's not going to be on the news. It's not going to be on late night television. He's not going to be on any famous podcast. He's just going to be on his YouTube channel saying, I released an album. And the only people that'll know are the people that watched that video. You got to live in reality, son. I don't care how good you think the guy is. He don't have it. He's ruined his voice. The drugs has ruined his voice. I would bet he can't even rap anymore because he can't keep a train of thought. So, Jesus. I mean, you go ahead and live in some fantasy world that just doesn't exist. You're the same kind of people that just refuse. They can show you video of Tyler Robinson coming, Tyler Robinson arriving, getting out of his car, walking with the rifle, putting the stock back on the rifle on the roof, crawling into position, taking aim, pulling the trigger, wrapping the rifle in a towel and running off the back of the building and then coming back in the middle of the night to try to find the gun back when the cops already had it. You could watch a video with all that and believes that someone else did it because someone on YouTube said so. I'm sorry, but you got to plug in, man. No, he could never make that back. He's never made that much. He's never made $18 million. Never. He was never even come close to that. Good Lord. Yeah, maybe Ryan can play in Seeper's Club now. You know what? If Ryan played at Seeper's Club, I'd pay $50 to park out front. Wouldn't you? Another bullshitter, man. I can't believe people believe that idiot. If you guys knew, he's a little skinny, geeky twerp. You could flip him on the back of the ear with your finger and he'd start crying. That's who Seeper is. God damn. And he ain't never owned anything. He lived in a trailer park 2 trailers down from Wade Deaver, in a rented trailer at that. He's not on dope. Oh, God, son. Oh, goodness, boy. Goodness. Okay, honey. Let me tell you, being on drugs is at least an excuse for what we've seen over the last year, right? Isn't that just, at least there's an excuse? Hey, man, sorry, I know that's weird, but I was high. It's an excuse. If he's stone sober and he did all the shit we've seen in the last 4 years, that son of a bitch is nuts. Good God. He's got sued for, you're standing there saying he's not on drugs. Dude's been sued 3 times for slander and lost all 3 cases. And he hasn't been seen with normal sized pupils in 4 years. Your pupils don't go fully dilated, little man, no matter what. I don't care what you think and what you believe. There's only one thing in this whole world that'll make your pupils fully dilated, and that is some kind of drug. Get a grip, son. I know that to be 100% true. No, you don't. You just lie to yourself all the time. I don't even think Ryan's music suited for a dive bar, to tell you the truth, because dive bars, people go to dance, like hook up with chicks. And that ain't his kind of music. He would be able to do concerts in real small venues. But who's going to work with him? Who's going to go up on stage with him? Nobody, until he gets off this dope. Ain't nobody going to want to be on stage with him. He's impossible. He's just impossible to work with. He won't engage with reality. He's out of his mind. He puts expectations on people that he doesn't put on himself. Yeah, no doubt, man. Man, that last video, dude, did you see them sons of bitches? They were vibrating. The fuckers were as big as quarters, and they're sitting there jiggling. He was just a fucking zooming, man. I mean, zooming. I got to tell you something else that I got to laugh at it. If every fan donated 109, well, hell, I could say that about anybody. Are you okay? Are you old enough to be in here? I mean, you're not like 13, are you? I hope not. Man, you're just, dude, you're gone. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you're not playing with a full deck. Why would all of his fans donate him $100? Why would they do that? You ain't even got $100. His fans already donated him a bunch of money buying his music, and he pissed it away like it meant nothing, like it had no value at all. You go work all week, spend your hard-earned money on him, and he takes it goddamn. My internet shit. My internet ain't shit. What the hell are you talking about, little man? Nice green screen. Listen to this dumbass. You think that's a green screen, huh? Where do they find these people? Where do they find these people? Green screen. Goddamn fan spinning with a shadow. Oh, look, green screen. God, you poor stupid bastard. Oh my God. Whew. This is what I mean. Here, this is the other thing that's annoying. Okay, take this guy right here. Okay. He took a glance at something and made up a decision in his mind without really thinking about it. Right? And you got guys like this listening to Heavy Duty Country and Jesse on Fire and Candace Owens and Ryan Upchurch and shit. That's why that stuff's so irresponsible. That's why it's so irresponsible for Ryan to have done what he did. I mean, I think it's incredibly unfair that Ryan was the only one that got sued, but it's the way it is, right? You got to go after someone that it can least afford the suit, right? But the Swartzes should have been sued, and Captain Kirk should have been sued right along with him because they encouraged it all. And they were very involved in it with notepads and everything. Power Stroke doxed several people with his little notepad. Instead of saying, Ryan, you're out of your mind, that girl's very real, they sat there and played along with it. So they should have got sued too. But when you see a guy like this that's literally unable to just rationalize for a second that, wait a minute, that can't be a green screen. When you got somebody like that that's listening to somebody like Heavy Duty Country and Jesse on Fire, do you realize there's probably people out there that are nutty enough to physically act upon the things they're being told? This is how you end up with a nutty person on a rooftop with a rifle. So you say, well, why did, for example, this could very well be, this right here could very well be Tyler Robinson. And so Tyler Robinson listened to all the people say that Charlie Kirk said this and Charlie Kirk said that, and he's a racist and he's a homophobe and he's a blah, blah, blah. And he never once went and listened to Charlie Kirk himself. He just listened to what other people said he was. And he listened to the out of context quotes and the gross exaggerations that they tried to claim Charlie said and the truth is he was never mean to anybody. He told people a lot of times the truth they didn't want to hear, but he always was trying to be uplifting and tell them, hey, you don't have to be like this. He was never mean. And he always wished gay people the best and trans people the best, but told them the reality is, if you're born a man, you can't, changing clothes doesn't ever change that. So, yeah, that's how you end up with someone on a rooftop with a rifle. There's people like this that don't have the sense to dissect what it is they're actually seeing or hearing. They take a knee-jerk reaction and believe it. I mean, I bet you he still thinks it's a green screen. Do you still think it's a green screen? Or have you had time to look long enough to go, oh, wait a minute, that's not a green screen? Good God, dude. Whew. I saw him up church live, pretty good shows. I wouldn't go anymore because I know his voice is trashed. Sound like shit. But yeah, he's this is unreal, man. Look at how stupid it is. It says, why don't you just move in with him and his buddy and his lover because you sound crazy? I hear you, man. I don't get it, man. People are nuts. People are nuts, man. Oh my God. That's another one. How many times can a person contradict themselves in the same 2-hour live stream? The system's coming after everyone. No, the system's only coming after people that slander a grieving family or people that break the law or that. There's no system coming for anyone. I've been on this earth for almost 7 decades. I've been able to do everything I wanted to do. Nobody ever stopped me from doing things I wanted to do. Yeah. Sure enough. Yeah, the people telling the truth are the crazy ones. The guy getting sued for $18 million for slander and then thinking that's other people taking his assets and not the people that sued him. Well, they're pretty normal. See what I mean? There are a lot of crazy people out there that are unable to rationalize with reality. Green screen. Holy God, man. I've seen some nutty stuff on here before, but that takes the cake. I don't know anything about that. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Sydney. Yeah, living under Creeker Bridge. The exploding mic was probably, yes, the most ridiculous conspiracy of them all for many reasons. Okay. So for any of you out there that are still on that, in order for that to be true, the reality of it is, in order for that to be true, for one, none of you ever really went and watched that exploding pager, the damage those do, right? For an explosion to kill someone instantly, it's got to be a pretty damn violent explosion. Can't be no like M80, right? Or firecracker. It has to be a violent explosion. And those pagers that killed those guys, it blew their limbs off and burnt their clothes. But in order for your exploding mic conspiracy to be true, one, the absurdity of it, right? Because if Charlie's own people were willing to put an exploding mic on him to kill him, why wouldn't they have just killed him along the highway on the way there where there weren't any cameras or people watching, and they wouldn't have had to fool around with all this risky stuff and maybe get caught by meddling YouTubers? Why not just kill him in his motel room? Or, and if they were willing to blow him up and all this crap, why not just choke him out while you're driving down the road in the van? And then say he had a heart attack. And then if everybody's in on it and the hospital's in on it, they'd just agree. Yeah, they brought him in. He had a heart attack. I mean, the absurdity to think that they would go to all that trouble to kill him when they had access to him 24 hours a day is stupid, right? It don't even pass the smell test. But moving on from that, there were hundreds of people standing on all 3 sides of him. He had a U-shaped crowd barrier around him that was about 6 feet back from the chair he was sitting in. And there were people all the way around that. looking directly at him. Now, you telling me you think something could explode right where you're looking, 6 feet in front of you, and you wouldn't notice it? And then secondly, you've got the very distinct sound of a rifle being fired that everybody can hear on all the independent cell phone videos. It blows my mind that you guys think, even after you've been told and you've seen the charging documents, that they have over 200 videos in evidence. Over 200. You've only seen like 10 of them. You don't know what all they've got. But there were a lot of people recording cell phones that day. Them people right in the front, literally standing right there, had their cell phones out recording. They've probably got video that would blow your mind, man. And to think that you've seen everything there is, this is stupid. You've been told they can't release all the evidence because you can't taint the jury. And even in this pretrial hearing, you guys got to see a smidge, and I mean a smidge of evidence. All they did was show the court that they have enough evidence to go to a death penalty trial. And so they showed a snippet of what they have, and the judge agreed, yep, this can go to trial. This certainly happened, and it will move forward. But trust me, they got a lot more than what you've seen. Everybody was recording on their phone that day. So, I mean, come on, man, use your head. I do believe he didn't act alone. What do you mean? I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Why would someone need help aiming a rifle and pulling the trigger? Why would they need help with that? I don't understand why you guys think that there had to be some big, huge apparatus. That rooftop was open to the public. There's a mezzanine deck there that you can go up there and look down at the amphitheater like bands that are playing and stuff. It was open to the goddamn public. There were college kids that looked exactly like Tyler Robinson all over the place. Kids, 20-something years old, with a book bag, T-shirt, shorts, and tennis shoes. So he didn't stick out. Well, why would he have needed help? What do you mean didn't act alone? I don't understand what makes you think he would have had to have had a partner to park his car, take 2 Phillips screws out of a gun stock, stick one part down his pant leg and the other down his back, and walk 3 blocks up a set of steps, lay down, screw the stock back on the gun, crawl in place, pull the trigger, wrap the gun in a towel, jump up, and run away. Why would he need help doing that? Why? What makes you think he'd need help doing that? You wouldn't need help doing that. Anybody could do that. Anybody could do that. Wasn't a hard shot to make. Anybody that's... What kills me is you get all these people running their mouth about pull this up here. You got all these people running their mouth about the 30-06, and they've never even shot a gun, let alone a 30-06. And they start grossly exaggerating. All the gross exaggerations around that gun, like the shit that Candace Owens just said recently, that, oh, he would have had a black eye from the scope and the recoil. That's all just gross exaggerations. You can go to YouTube right now, any one of you, right now. Go right up to this, open another tab, go to the screen, type in woman shooting 30-06. And there's probably 20 videos of women shooting a 30-06. No, the recoil isn't so strong, it knock your shoulder off and give you a black eye. It doesn't kick any worse than any other rifle. For God's sake, man, the gross exaggerations people believe. No, he wouldn't have needed help. Now, did his friends probably know he was going to do it? I suppose they did. But how are you going to arrest someone based on what was in their mind? I mean, you guys just won't apply a lick of common sense. Candace Owens is a paid Democrat operative. She is paid to do what she is doing and paid very well to do it. You don't understand. Of course they want to tear Turning Point USA down. Of course they want to make a mockery of Charlie's legacy. Of course they would. They are probably the most likely to do it. It blows my mind. You guys don't know that even if Tyler Robinson hadn't have been arrested that day, trans radicals would have been the most likely of suspects because they were the ones that hated Charlie. They were the ones that always showed up at his speaking events. They were the ones that always made death threats. They were the ones that maintained Charlie Kirk hate groups. They were the ones that grossly exaggerated everything he said. They were the ones that labeled him enemy number one. Not Israel. We've seen violence from the left for 10 years, nonstop. They breached the White House gates, set St. John's Church on fire, killed police officers, kicked a store owner in the face like they were kicking a football, tried to shoot the president 3 times, shot a whole baseball team of conservatives. And you think they aren't capable of aiming a rifle and shooting somebody. It's just ridiculous. That shot, anybody, I right now would bet anybody that was willing to bet $500 I could make that shot in 2 tries. And I ain't shot a rifle like that in a long time. I could probably do it with my pistol, tell you the truth. That's not a hard shot to make. He had a very clear, straight shot. He had a ledge to prop the gun on and a scope. And no, the scope wouldn't be out of calibration because he took the stock off the gun. Down to some... Where would he get more than $18 million from? Honestly, where do you think he would get $18 million? If he saved every single penny that's came through his hands, like not spent a dime, like every single penny that he's made, if he saved every penny from the music and from the merch, he might, maybe have 8 million. But he hasn't even earned 18 million in his life. Where do you think he would have gotten that much money from? Did you buy any of his music? I bet the truth be known, you've never bought any. You just listened to it on YouTube. His YouTube channel got demonetized years ago because he didn't know how to watch his mouth. So the only place he's going to get money is from merch and from streaming services where people are streaming his music. And then sometimes people buying a hard digital copy. Has he had, $6-7 million pass through his hands? Yep. But you seem to forget he blew money like it grew on trees. You can buy 3 houses with $1 million. You could buy 100 motorcycles, maybe more. I would say he's more than that. I'd say he's far more than 8 million in the hole. Do you think having false teeth bothers me at the age of 65 years old? Do you think that's some kind of insult? Trust me, you'll probably have them a whole lot sooner. You probably got teeth missing out of your head right now. No, it doesn't bother me a bit. Yeah, 400 million. God damn, $500 million from a 3 million subscriber YouTube channel that's demonetized. It gets 13,000 views if he's lucky. Oh, Lord. He probably could have seen family. What? Wow, dude. The people that sued Ryan Upchurch for $18 million, that's who. That's right, Beachside. You guys have all, and here's the thing. Since Ryan did it, his low IQ fans felt justified doing it too. That's what makes what he did so irresponsible and so wrong. That's why you don't see other artists or other YouTubers do this craziness. I mean, when you weaponize a fan base, there's crazy people out there, crazy people. I mean, the shit they put Zanime through, she literally had to, she had to resign from her job because she had a job at NASA. She had to resign from because of it ruined the relationship between her and her superior, because her superior believed all these people that were calling and talking trash. And he made her defend herself against just pure fabricated fairy tales that had no evidence. And so there was so much animosity that she resigned. Now she's doing very fine. She, didn't, but she had somebody stalk her and harass her for quite a long time. She's not the only one, and then he said Ikadmel was trafficker, and Ikadmel did settle out of court. But the whole fan base went after him, calling him every name in the book. I put up with it too. I mean, I'm glad you guys think, somebody in their 60s with dentures is just some big fucking own. Just goes to show how mature you are. You're like messing. It's like you're with a bunch of sixth graders on the playground or something. Yeah. I mean, when you don't have sense enough to know that when you have an email, and if you set that email up to your phone, it's going to back your phone up to the cloud associated with that email. So if you use the same email on a second phone, it's going to immediately synchronize the two. Unless you turn all that shit off. But it's all on by default. And to be 30 years old plus and not even know about how the basics of a cell phone goes to show how unplugged and how helpless Ryan is with nobody to do everything for him. I mean, he's had his friends literally doing everything for him that required any kind of thought or input for 4 or 5 years. He couldn't even get a new phone and just walk through the prompts and set up a new cell phone like we all do. He is incapable of doing that. And you guys think he's some intelligent person, multi-millionaire. You're so buffaloed. He's not country. He didn't grow up in the country. He can't even mix 2-cycle gas. He can't fix a flat tire. He's not country. Country person could mix 2-cycle gas and fix a flat tire just fine. Oh, for God's sakes. No, there isn't. There isn't any jihadists taking over America. They couldn't defeat the American military. They couldn't defeat one battalion of the American military, let alone the whole American military. Could they blow something up again? Yeah. Will they do that again? Probably. But they ain't taking over nothing. Man, you got to quit listening to all these conspiracy theorists, man. Dude, you guys got to back away from that. That's the trouble. When you cut the cord, and the only goddamn thing you're digesting are a bunch of YouTubers that are talking conspiracies all day, you're going to believe all kind of horse shit that just ain't real. Like somebody else besides Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. Just ridiculous. My God, man. They got him on film doing it. Where did you ever get that kind of bullshit from? You're out of your fucking mind. No, he's not. No, you don't have any idea what anything with his IRS says. You pull shit out of your ass talking to a bunch of adults like we're stupid. What the hell's wrong with you? Bigger than Morgan Wallen? No. Ryan's not bigger than anyone that would have a radio hit. It's impossible. It will be impossible for him to be bigger than someone that's on the radio. Someone on the radio is going to be known by the whole world. Someone on YouTube is only known by the people that subscribe to the channel. There are YouTubers out there that have 50 million subscribers that you've never even seen or heard of. And I'll bet you there's 20, 30,000 of them. I see new YouTube channels every day that have like 5 million, 10 million, 15 million subscribers. Never seen or heard of them before. But when you're on the radio and your music's being played on a radio station in every single city, in every state, in multiple countries, you're going to get a hell of a lot more reach than a YouTube channel. For God's sake. He can't even be on a Mexican radio. Well, I ain't saying the drugs are an excuse. I'm saying it's an excuse for him to say I was whacked out of my mind. If you're not on drugs and you're doing crazy shit, how do you justify it? Other than I'm insane, right? I mean, the things he's believed that people were following him and the security camera company was actually operatives working for the Rodney family, putting bugs in his house. And, you're running around recording all your friends all the time. And you would only do that for two reasons. One, you're hired and shit and paranoid, or you're just absolutely insane. Yeah, you got a lot more. Yeah, he's a bit cuckoo for sure. I don't think his catalog's worth hundreds of millions. He can't. See, this is what, again, have you not been paying attention? If he sold his catalog, they would just seize the money. I mean, I don't think you get it. And it's not people trying to seize it. They have the power of the courts and the law behind them. They can show up with the sheriff with guns and say, we're taking this, 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 and this, and you sit down over there and keep your mouth shut. That's how that works. I would say his catalog's probably worth 25 million. It ain't worth hundreds of millions. Nobody's going to be listening to Ryan Upchurch rap songs 25 years from now. Nobody. Not one single person, probably. You only buy something once, right? You're not going to buy the song again and again and again. So he's already hit the peak of proceeds that would come from his bangers that he had. Everything else he put out after, I would say, Mud to Gold sucked, really. There was only 2 songs on there worth listening to, and that was the last one that was even tolerable. Everything else since then has been pure trash, and the sales reflected that. So I don't know where you think it'd be worth. Yeah, I think Jelly Roll might have just been being kind when he said that, but it might be worth 25. Someone might pay 25 million for it, deduct the 18 million he owes the Rodney family, and how long you think it would take him to blow what was left? The way he fucking blows money like it don't matter. That is not, I just can't believe how stupid you are to think that you're hearing my dentures do something. It's just, grow up. You ain't hearing shit. Fix your goddamn connection or something. If he would have hired professional managers, I sat and did it one time, a couple years ago on one of my live streams. And I suspect he cheated himself out of about $2 million a year that he could have been making just off of merch. And I suspect not having his YouTube channel monetized. And, he had a live-in camera guy, right? He moved that guy in to do videos. And if he would have been uploading a day in the life of Upchurch, 1 or 2 vlogs a week that were nothing but positivity, and he had that channel monetized and wasn't slandering people, and it was family-friendly content, that would have been about another 2 to 3 million a year. But he didn't do that. He got his YouTube channel demonetized right away, not being careful what he said, and had every Tom, Dick, and Harry had their fingers because of him being unplugged and delegating everything to everybody else instead of doing it himself. And so, yeah, I'd be lucky. I don't think he has what you think he has. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that just won't engage with reality. Yeah, I agree. People have lost their critical thinking skills. They don't understand. One of the things that shocks me the most is Gen Z grew up with the internet, probably, and smartphones at their peak, and they are the dumbest generation ever. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I mean it literally. They can't recognize sarcasm. They take sarcasm as literal comments. They can't, and they don't have the ability to think ahead, like people that believe the exploding mic theory. You watch some YouTuber narrate over a video with no sound, telling you what people are doing you can't see. How the fuck does he know what they're doing? He don't know what they're doing either, right? But then you believe it. And instead of having enough critical thinking skills to say, well, now, wait a minute. The hospital did surgery on him and took x-rays, removed fragments from his body, and submitted that to a court to be used as evidence in a death penalty case. We're not talking a they. We're not talking them. We're talking a hospital, a local hospital with local doctors, nurses, surgeons that live there in the community with wives and children and families and homes and careers and educations they paid a lot of money for. And you think that all those people would just agree to lie to be complicit with a murder? It's just silly. And if you would have just thought for a minute, wait a minute, that's not even possible, because he was taken to the hospital and they found fragments in his body. All the gross exaggerations you believe about a 30-06. Well, if it was a big conspiracy from some big, huge conspiracy apparatus, they could have said it was any gun they wanted. Why would they have chose 30-06, the hardest one to believe? They could have said it was a 22 rifle or something, right? Critical thinking. You got to sit back and think things through. Why would Charlie's own people, who have access to him 24/7, and you got all these people that you think are willing to lie, well, then why would they wait to kill him in front of a bunch of cameras and a live stream and shit and a big, huge audience? And why wouldn't they just take him out along the highway somewhere, at the airport or in his hotel room, or where nobody's around to see it all? There's no cameras. Nobody has to run away. Nobody has to be a patsy. This is silly. No 20-year-old is going to admit to a murder they didn't commit and smile and laugh about it as they're being tried in a death penalty case and locked up for the rest of their life at the very least. They'd be screaming, "I'm being framed. I did not do this." Tyler Robinson's not doing that. If the police were lying about what Tyler Robinson's parents said and what role they played in him being arrested, if the police are lying about that, you can bet your ass you would hear Tyler Robinson's parents saying, "Our son's being framed. We did not say that." Right? Instead of sat silently by, thinking, we love our son, but we got to do the right thing. He murdered somebody in cold blood. Yeah, there's some that would. There's some that would. There's crazies, and there's simps out there that would. They certainly did some pretty nasty shit to people, myself included. And I haven't spoke too much about it, but there's one person sitting in jail right now for the shit they did to me. And they're going to do 16 months. That's embarrassing to know you're 36 years old and you believe in fairy tales. If you would have said you were 13, I'd be, he's got a lot of growing up to do. He'll figure it out. But you're 36. You should already have it figured out. These things you're saying, son, are way off. Way off. Way, 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 way off. Yeah, that's right. The pre-trial, you can't get that through these people's head. All they're doing, the only reason you have a pre-trial is to show the court that you have a valid case to bring. When you guys see all the actual evidence they have, you're going to feel like fools, because I can tell you there's probably several cell phone videos of Tyler Robinson too that were given to the Utah. That's the other one that gets me, is all this. I don't believe this is all this daggone government slop. I don't believe the government official narrative. What the hell are you talking about? There's no government organization involved in this case. It's not a federal case. It's a local state murder. The state of Utah. What's the state of Utah got against Charlie Kirk? Come on, man. The FBI is not involved in the case at all. They haven't gave any public statements on it at all. It's just like I seen people. There was there was a investigator, an undercover. He was an undercover for a while, and then became an investigator for the Utah State Police. Who he had a British accent. He gave short testimony in the pretrial, and everybody's talking about what are we doing with an FBI agent with a British voice? He wasn't an FBI agent. He was a detective for the Utah State Police, not federal government. Tyler's lawyers are trash. They were only trying to drag it out. I don't know, dude. How do you defend somebody that's on camera committing the murder and then confessing verbally and in writing multiple times and laughing and tee-heeing while in court? How do you defend somebody like that? How do you defend somebody when in the murder weapon is a engraved spent shell cartridge? That's engraved in the suspect's handwriting with a derogatory comment aimed at the victim. And then you find those same type of ammo in his car engraved. And then you find the engraving tool, and it all has his fingerprints on it and DNA on it. And then you see that he broke the gun down in two parts, and you literally find the screwdriver that he left on the roof, which the screwdriver is what got him caught, really. I mean, he would have been caught anyway, but that made it quicker because when he left that screwdriver, that screwed him. He couldn't take the gun back apart. So he had to stash it. And when because he couldn't walk that 3 blocks back to his car carrying a rifle after there'd just been a shooting at the college. So his plan was to take that stock back off that gun, tuck it back the same way he had it when he arrived, and walk back to his car and leave and get away clean. Well, when he left that screwdriver on that roof, he screwed himself. Because he went, I can't take the gun apart. I can't be seen walking with it. So I'm going to have to hide it in this little patch of trees here and come back and get it tonight. And that's exactly what he tried to do. And when he showed back up at night to get it, it was gone. And all that's on video. His dry run in the morning, all on video. Him coming back, parking in a neighborhood across the street, walking with the gun broken down in 2 pieces, all on video. You can clearly see the outline of that stock of that gun in his pants. Like, if you're wanting it to be a conspiracy and you want to deny everything, maybe you wouldn't see it. But if you're just looking for the truth, you'll see it plain as day. Same way you can see plain as day, he runs away with that rifle wrapped in a towel. You can see it plain as day. You can see it when he drops it and picks it back up. Nobody's parents, kids, are going to say, yep, that's my son on the TV being accused of murder. And yes, by the way, that is our family rifle. Unless it's true. No parent is going to lie to put their son on trial for capital murder and the death penalty. And if the police were lying about what his parents said, his parents would have spoken up by now and said, they are lying. We never said that. You got to use your head, man. Stop watching conspiracy thumbnail channels. What are conspiracy thumbnail channels? Well, Heavy Duty Country, Jesse on Fire, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, all those idiots. They're never going to show you anything that would debunk today's new conspiracy. And it is laughable watching Heavy Duty Country post a new conspiracy thumbnail video every other day going on 11 months now. Going to blow the same lid off for the 800th time. How you guys can sit and watch that shit is beyond me. I don't even think he would have needed much help planning it, to tell you the truth. I don't think, I think when his friends came there a month earlier, they had a whole group of friends show up with out of state plates a month earlier to Lance Twiggs's apartment over there. And they, I would suspect that was the day they probably discussed something to do with it. And again, you'd have to prove that that's what they talked about, and you would have no way of doing that. But I kind of in my gut think maybe they did, and I think maybe they knew he was going to do it. But he could have done it, not told anybody, and not had anybody help him plan. There wasn't a lot to plan. I don't know why you think, because he didn't even know where he was going to shoot Charlie from till he went there that morning, parked his car, and walked around looking for a good vantage point. He walked the whole place. Could I get him from here? Could I get him from there? Well, if I'm up here, the crowd will see me. If I'm over here, the crowd will see me. Oh, wait, I could cross this little barrier from this mezzanine deck on the roof of the Losi building and crawl over here to this corner, and nobody would on the ground would see me very good, and I could take the shot and jump off the back of the building because it's only about 8 feet down from this awning. Yeah, I can do that. And that's when he planned where he was going to do it from, right then and there. And I'll bet I'm almost willing to bet that it was knee jerk, that he probably didn't have 2 days in thinking he was going to do it. Probably from the time he found out Charlie was going to speak there. I know, it's just something, man. Everybody but. I've heard these conspiracy channels. Sydney says she's getting tired of all this. It's the Jews, the Bible told her, blah, blah, blah. Trans radicals have been threatening to kill Charlie Kirk since he started speaking at campuses. Yet, no, you guys never mention them. The most violent group of people we know of that are responsible for killing and shooting many people. Right now, they've taken over another neighborhood, a new autonomous zone. 3 people were murdered in the last one. And yet you think that they wouldn't be the ones to do it. I mean, they would be the most likely of suspects. Even if Tyler Robinson hadn't been arrested and confessed, I would have suspected trans radicals before I suspected anybody. Yeah. Yeah, I would bet he's close to that. Yeah. Because he's going to be I think there was some mortgage left on Ghost Ranch. Some. I don't know how much. But he's going to be responsible for paying that balance. And so yep, I'm almost 66. I get a kick out of that green screen. Let me tell you something, son. That Power Stroke sitting behind me is a fucking animal. You have no idea. Engine was taken out of that, man. Engine's all painted fire engine red, and it's got stage 3 turbos, compound turbo, and 280cc hybrid injectors in it. Got all the cowling is polished aluminum. Yeah, no more greens. Let us get notice. No more greens. Hold on a second. I gotta laugh at this. Hold on. I see some stupid in my day, but son, you're one stupid son of a bitch. Notice no more green screen. What do you got to do? Hey, hold on a second. Do you feel like a fucking idiot now? Or not? I mean, seriously, speak up for yourself. Do you feel like an idiot? Because you're an idiot. You just made a fool of yourself in front of everybody. An absolute fool. Do you know how many videos there are from this shop on my channel? You dumbass. I don't know how do you function in life without like some adult with you at all times, like holding your hand and shit. I mean, it seems to me you got just enough brains to keep from shitting your pants. Green screen. Holy shit. Tweak Squad, never breaking the stake for the worst comeback of all time. You bet it, man. That dude ain't coming back. If he went to rehab, did a lot of humble apologizing, and found a really, really, really good band, supporting band, he might, maybe be able to do a little something again, but I doubt it. I think it's just over. You're going to just slowly see him dwindle away, man. He's not going to be able to handle not having any money. But he's going to wish all that money he wasted, like tearing stuff up because he was mad and having to replace it and giving stuff away because it didn't start or something. I mean, what country person do you know has a meltdown because a vehicle battery was dead on a vehicle after they let it set for 6 months? What kind of a country person buys a bunch of cars and don't even build a building to park them in? Just lets them set out in a field and weeds grow around them. Nothing country about him, man. And it's a shame because he's a pretty good wordsmith. There, I mean, he had something, but that window is shut now. That window closed. Yeah, his last tour debacle. Plus, there's a lighting company that he screwed. He did it twice, okay? One time, this is how irresponsible he's been. And this is what happens when you claim you're independent, but yet you don't hire any professional people to do anything. He thought he could just cancel a concert because he was in a bad mood. Well, the venue had already been reserved. The sound people and the light people had already scheduled. You can't just cancel and not pay those people now. So they sued him. I don't think he has ever paid them yet. And they won that lawsuit. Bigger than shit. He's a pretty good. Yeah, he was. He isn't the best anymore. He was at one time, I would say. You can't ever say someone's the best in any music because it comes down to taste. Okay, some people have taste that's different. There's people out there that would like some other artist better than Upchurch. But yeah, he had some pretty good bangers. I never cared for rap at all until I heard his rap, to be honest with you. I thought his rap was like, hey, that's something that you're talking about my day, you know. But that window slammed shut, man. I don't know. I don't think he can ever open it again. That horse left the barn and ran away because the barn was on fire. Yeah, I used to see those Holler Boy stickers around here a lot. But you know, you got to understand, he did all that shit to Bobby. When he did all that shit to Bobby, Bobby quit messing with his merch. He hired Bobby to do that, and then accused him of doing it behind his back, and it was just all bullshit. It was all bullshit. It was all in Ryan's head, every bit of it. No, you won't. You get tired of hearing the same 5 songs in a couple of years. It has been sad to watch because he had a lot of good people around him that tried everything. You know, the shit he put his mother through, and she still stood by him. Unbelievable. The way he did his dad, just fucking, just a shitty human being, man. To use your social media influence to hurt the people around you. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've come to find out Ryan's pretty damn dumb. There's a lot of shit he don't know. I mean, he literally just made a video a couple months ago shocked that a boutique was a place that sold clothes. I'm not kidding you. How can you be 30 years old and not know what a boutique is? Yeah, I mean, it's sad, man. His videos hardly get any views anymore, and they're not getting, and he gets no algorithmic promotion of any kind. Like I said, he'll be able to maybe do some dive bar gigs, but that's it. No lighting company is going to work for him because they would be afraid that with this lawsuit hanging over his head, that their shit could get seized. So they're no way. No sound company's going to put no equipment in nowhere with the risk of the proceeds and stuff being seized. No band's going to work with him knowing that everything they make while working with him could be seized. No artist is going to do a collab with him knowing that it all could be seized. He's painted himself in pretty tight. All over just admitting he was wrong and apologizing. She says, if his catalog was worth $1 million at best, the attorney already said they made a claim on it, so it's obviously not worth much else. It's probably worth, I mean, it's got some value, but it ain't nothing like what these dumbasses think. Because his streaming still does fairly good. I mean, his streaming does okay. It's not the number one, never was. That was always a lie. You know, he'd release an album and then yeah, that would be the number one thing that day because nobody else released an album that day. But in general, no, he's never been number one. But at one point, it was doing really well. It still does okay, but nothing that you could be talking millions about. You know, we're talking hundreds of thousands, not millions. There's a life isn't sunshine and rainbows, old man. What do you know? What do you know? They're living at your mom's house, telling everybody you can't find a job. What do you know? What do you know about life and rainbows? Listen to this dumbass. Okay, well, what? You can't name one single thing that I'm wrong about. You can like grossly exaggerate. You can fabricate, but you can't factually make any claim. I mean, when you got people that still claim that no way could you be shot with a 30-06 and it fragment when that has literally been proven. I mean, 30-06, do you know why it's called that? Because I bet a lot of people don't even know why it's even called a 30-06. It's a 30 millimeter cartridge, and it was created in 1906. That rifle's been around for a long time. There's been a lot of people shot with that rifle. And any claim that it would automatically just blow someone's head apart, it's just a gross exaggeration of reality. It is not true. Thousands of soldiers came home from the war shot with them things with lead in them, alive. There are people on YouTube who have fragments from a 30-06 in their body. And they got YouTube channels. The ammo literally says, their ammo literally says right on the box, soft tip. Right on the box. And you still believe these gross exaggerations and fairy tales. Oh, it kicked so hard to give you a black eye. A 8-year-old kid could shoot a 30-06 and not even get a bruise. It don't kick as hard as most shotguns. Everything you believe about that rifle is a gross exaggeration. Yeah, Martin Luther King was hit with a 30-06, and bing, bing, the fragments lodged in his jaw. Didn't blow his whole head off. I didn't see. I know. Remember that? Yeah, he's reincarnated Elvis. Jesus. The guy had like 5 bangers that did real well. And all of a sudden he's Elvis. Yeah. Okay. Now, I think you don't know what you're talking about. I think you have the IQ of a toddler, and you believe in gross exaggerations and fairy tales that you have to lie to yourself to believe. They're psychobabble rap. They're using that as an abbreviation for psychobabble rap, PBR. Yeah, I agree, man. I put up with a lot of shit. But, I'm sorry, man. Somebody had to speak up. A lot of innocent people being fucked with for no reason. The crack squattian mentality is prevalent on the internet. It sure is, man. I can't believe that these simpletons, that Ryan Upchurch, sitting behind his keyboard, no more access to information than anyone else, right? Sitting there with a couple of other crackheads, don't know anything more than anybody else. Had a bunch of you fucking people believing that some college kids were sinister and crafty enough to murder a girl, hide her car for 2 weeks, and then bring her car back and put it in the water where they already searched, and then climb a fire tower and edit a video on a security camera system, and then find a way to break in the cloud and edit the video in the cloud. And then, a girl that was involved in the killing of her literally made a YouTube video of herself paddling over the body. And you simpletons believe that shit. You believe that shit. And all it was a girl leaving a party late at night with a lot of fog and probably had a few beers in her and literally made a wrong turn and drove straight into the water. You had simpletons making videos claiming a car's electronics wouldn't be affected by it being underwater. Your Uncle Will types. And he proved that by hooking a light bulb to a battery. Okay. You guys believed all that shit. I know, man. Dude, go look at his channel. I'm glad to hear that, Chris. I stopped too. When you see, you got to understand the effort that he's going to be posting. If you go look at his channel right now, it's a new conspiracy thumbnail every other fucking day. And one conspiracy contradicts the conspiracy the day before, and he never explains that away. It's just suddenly a new conspiracy. Hey, never mind that conspiracy I told you yesterday. This is the conspiracy. And it's every other fucking day going on 11 months. And then you've got people like Jesse on Fire who just regurgitate it. I mean, he don't even come up with his own conspiracies. He just repeats everybody else's. And it's just sad to see. And I know damn well they're getting paid to do it. I know damn well they are. As soon as they see a high view count, oh, man. And it just shows they have no character. He doesn't give a rat's ass the damage he's doing to Turning Point USA and the amount of votes he could be taking away, keeping Democrats out of power. He doesn't care. All he cares about, I got good views on that video. I'll make another one just like it. It is disgusting what they've been doing, very much. Very disgusting and very disappointing. I'm so disappointed in a lot of conservative voices that have let the clicks and views stand in the way of their moral foundation. Looks broke down, huh? Also, anytime you pull a truck in your own shop, it's probably broke down. No, actually, since you brought that up, I'm actually installing a 13,500 pound winch on the front. It's sitting there. Sitting right there. if you must know. That truck's 730 horse, all on the dyno. And I'll dare bet it's the nicest Power Stroke. You'd be hard pressed to find one nicer than that one. That's a driver. There's probably some SEMA trucks out there, but that's been a chassis off, frame sandblasted, engine completely rebuilt. It's got one of the nicest looking engines in any Power Stroke. Let's see if I can find. I should have a picture. Let me see something here. See if I can find one real quick. You know, like these guys. I'm glad you're jealous of it. You should be. I just took the body, the cab off the frame, the bed off the frame. I put new quarter panels on it, new bed floor in it, all new inner and outer rockers, new door skins, new fenders, and painted it. It's got every dream Power Stroke part there is on it, including shit you probably never even heard of. Yeah, they're all going to look like fools when that trial starts. But you know what they'll do is they'll just make videos saying everybody's lying and the evidence is fake, and just do more stupidity. I don't think he had no help at all, to tell you the truth. I don't see why you think he would have needed help. What was so hard that he needed help? You guys act like Charlie Kirk was the president or something. He was just some private individual speaking out of college, responsible for his own security. The whole place was open to the public. Anybody could go anywhere walking around. Nothing was restricted or closed off. He literally walked up a set of steps onto the mezzanine deck there on the Losi building, stepped over a little 2-foot wall, little 2-foot concrete wall, laid down, screwed the stock back on, and crawled over to the corner of the building, aimed, and pulled the trigger. It took him about 15 seconds. And then jumped up and ran off the back. And the only mistake he made was leaving his screwdriver there. That's what got him fucked. Yeah, their credibility shot. Yeah, I know, man. I mean, you talk about just completely. You got to understand, there's always going to be low IQ people, like some of the ones we see in here, green screen, people like that think that'll never understand that you can't believe a word he says now, because he's just completely dissolved any credibility he would have had. Because the things that he has claimed defy common sense and human logic and rational reality. You know, but he says it because he can get a click or a view for it. And just goes to show he has no moral fiber. Yeah, I so agree. Hold on a second. I want to see if I can find a picture of this. Since dude's jealous of my truck, I'm going to rub it in for a minute, if you don't mind. Be right. Let me turn this off a second. Be right back. See if we can find. I don't know if I got any on this computer. I think I do. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right. So let's do desktop and save. Do that one and this one. Always like making jealous people feel bad. because jealousy is a form of low IQ insecurity. People that have low IQ and are insecure are typically jealous of people. Okay, let's do this. Copy. Let's get rid of that. All right, hold on a second. And let me open a new tab. Boom. Let's do this. And let's reduce it. Okay, here we go. Now, so you're jealous of my truck. Okay. Well, I'm going to make you feel worse. There's the crappy engine that you're jealous of. If you go on my channel, you can see plenty of videos of it roaring. They're jealous. Now, if you get a job, work hard, and stop watching conspiracy content, start using your own mind, you can maybe accomplish something in your life and maybe have something nice. Just saying. Just saying. But you first got to grow up. You got to say, okay, these people are lying. These people are full of crap. Heavy duty country's just posting one conspiracy after another. He must be nuts. You know, when you get to a point you get that kind of sense, you might be able to have something nice someday. Yeah. The meth heads. Actually, that's funny you mentioned that. Funny you mentioned that. Stay tuned. I'm about to make somebody else feel really stupid. Oh, Lord. So who's got one better that you know? Yeah, no shit. That guy's a goner, isn't he? Mr. Yeah, oh, you PVR don't know he's talking about you can put a car underwater and it'll be fine. Yeah, there's so many car submarines out there. You just cruise right down the boat launch and drive on the bottom of the lake and come up the other side. Fucking lights and everything will stay working. I mean, the dumbest fucking hicks in the world. I'll tell you, that guy should have gotten an award. At one point, Uncle Will should have gotten an award for the biggest knob polishing simp to ever simp for Upchurch. Because he was a superstar simp. If Ryan showed up to Uncle Will's house and said, hey, I don't fuck your wife's pussy, you need to just go over there and sit down, he'd have just went over there and sat down. I mean, that's the kind of simp he was. Chased him all around Florida one time when he was down there on vacation. Ryan kept hiding from him. All right, that's going just about to wrap it up. I appreciate you kids tuning in, man. And I would stay tuned because I suspect Ryan's meltdown is going to be glorious to watch. And I'm going to enjoy every minute because of the way his simp army fucked with me for telling the truth. And if I was the Swartzes, I'd be hiding. I'd be so fucking ashamed that I was part of that I caused a guy that I looked up to, that I thought was a great artist, I took part in him getting sued for every fucking dime he has. Because he was 100% invested in that shit. 100%. And then his daddy ran to his rescue like a child to defend what he did. As if somehow those calling him out were the ones in the wrong. Calling people pedo and all this shit. And then when it was done back to them, they ran to the police like little coward sissies. Yeah, there's some honorable folks right there. Get Ryan Upchurch sued and then troll a bunch of people. And then when they get trolled back, they run to the police like children. And then can't even admit they lost. Yeah, appreciate y'all tuning in. Sorry about your life, green screen. You ought to try using your head a little bit before you type anything. And appreciate you letting me know how jealous you were of my truck. Catch you later.
Psychobabble, oh, psychobabble.